What up, One Piece and Roronoa Kenshin fans? You're now in tune to another session of Pondering Wind. I'm the East Wind, and in today's session, I want to talk about Screwattack's 1 minute melee battle between Zoro and Kenshin. Before I continue, let me make this statement as always. If you are a One Piece zealot, meaning you are overly obsessed with One Piece and you're blind to everything outside of One Piece, stop listening right now. Because if you make a statement that's saying Zoro does this, Zoro does that, you're only going to make yourself look ignorant as to what I'm stating is completely objective. So save yourself the disgrace. If you are a One Piece fan or a Roronoa Kenshin fan, as always, I welcome you to listen to this broadcast and see this battle put in perspective, because nobody else has done it. Everybody was, yeah, Zoro beat Kenshin. So, with that being said, let's jump into this. The question is, why am I addressing this 1 minute melee? And the answer is because Screwattack did not adhere to the guidelines they set forth for the 1 minute melee. And it's evident since they've abandoned it now. Like, they're doing the DBX thing or whatever it's supposed to be. And the guideline they did not adhere to is there is no research. For this 1 minute melee battle between Zoro and Kenshin, it's obvious that there's research based on the character. Here's the proof. Right now, open 2 separate windows in whatever device you're listening to this broadcast on. In the first window, Google, of course, Google search or whatever search, Roronoa Kenshin in the first, and then One Piece Zoro in the second. In Roronoa Kenshin's description, there is an emphasis on the moniker Batosai the Manslayer. And the Batosai came before Kenshin the Wanderer. So in this 1 minute melee, the character that should have been present is the Batosai. When you go and look at Zoro image-wise, you will see that it's East Blue Zoro. White t-shirt, green sash, and black pants. So the question I pose to you is, how did Screwattack get time skip Zoro? And the Wanderer Kenshin for that matter. They did research. There's no way you can get time skip Zoro without doing research deep into the world of One Piece. So the correct 1 minute melee should have been the Batosai versus East Blue Zoro. And the outcome would have been way different. The outcome would still be different if time skip Zoro was present too. It doesn't matter either way. The Batosai slaying both of them. And some of y'all, like I said, there's probably some One Piece zealots still listening. And you up in arms right now. You disliking. You writing negative comments. Hey, more power to you, man. Like I said, you only gonna make yourself look ignorant. Kenshin's sword discipline, and it's not even a deep thing like research and all this stuff, just surface things. The Hiten Mitsurugi style is a sword style made to end battles quickly. It's not made to have long drawn out fights. For if some Roronoa Kenshin fans are listening, if you remember what Seijiro Hiko did when he first came across, basically when he saved Kenshin, those were not long drawn out fights. He immediately slayed those he deemed as enemies. In the same way that the Batosai slayed the targets he came across. The Hitsen Mitsurugi style is basically the most, or one of the most efficient sword styles to killing your opponent. And it has the advantage of godlike speed, which brings me to another flaw of this 1 minute melee, which is Zoro's speed. Zoro has never moved that fast ever throughout the entire course of One Piece. He's not that fast. While speaking on Zoro not being as fast as they made him in that 1 minute melee, let's talk about the feats like most people bring up. So there's 2 feats that they'll talk about: power and speed. Power wise, they'll say, yeah, Zoro cut a ship in half, and it's an impressive feat. There's no question about that. But he has to actually land those attacks on Kenshin, and in order for him to do that, he would have to be faster than Kenshin, which brings me to the speed feat. Zoro has no such feat. If Zoro Zealots, One Piece Zealots type, I don't care, you can give me all the dislikes for this all you want, but what I'm speaking for logical One Piece fans, for logical anime fans that understand both anime, they're gonna get it, and they're gonna be like, yeah, what he's talking about makes sense. If you type, like I said, man, if you type he has a speed feat here, a speed feat there, I don't care what type of delusion you bring up, there's no way he's faster than Kenshin. He's never moved that fast in the entire history of One Piece. Pre-time skip, time skip. I don't know where they got that from. Whereas if you look at Kenshin's speed feats, he has numerous. His greatest one being when he took on Sojiro. They disappeared from sight, and the battle was the equivalent of a Dragon Ball Z fight, with flashbangs resulting from Sojiro and Kenshin clashing. So the question I ask you is, how is Zoro going to strike an opponent that he can't even keep up with? As far as speed feats go within the Straw Hats, only Luffy has that feat, and that's basically from second year. Zoro has never or will never match that speed. Breaking it down even further, ranking the top characters in speed for the Straw Hats, it would go Luffy, Sanji, Chopper, and then Zoro. Chopper and Sanji could be arguable. I mean, you know, with Chopper's form, he might actually be faster than Sanji. Sanji still beat Zoro though. That's definitely a guarantee. Sanji is faster than Zoro. So with Zoro being 4th as far as speed goes in the Straw Hats, what is he going to do with Kenshin, or like I already said, the Batosai, when it comes to speed? Nothing. And to demonstrate Kenshin's speed feat when he clashed with Sojiro, I'll use Tashigi from Pirate Warriors 3. This technique that she does right here, she disappears completely from sight. Now, of course, it is super exaggerated because the same as Zoro, she's never moved this fast in the anime at all. Like, I don't know where they got it from, but yet again, you can see elements of Roronoa Kenshin in One Piece here. Her sword style is that of baatle jutsu, and her quick draw techniques are that of Kenshin. It ain't hard to recognize that. So when she disappears from sight here, that is the equivalent of Kenshin and Sojiro's flashbang disappearing from sight battle. I'm using Tashigi because, you know, I can't use the actual footage. I have to create it myself, so this is me creating. If you've never seen it, it'll be an annotation of what episode and at what time you can see exactly what I'm talking about in the corner somewhere. Along with the power feat, a lot of people will bring up durability, and they'll say that, you know, Mihawk cutting Zoro didn't kill him, and all this other nonsense. The reason that Mihawk cutting Zoro did not kill him is because that was not Mihawk's intent. What did Mihawk tell him? You have to get better if you want to take me on. So basically, it was Mihawk giving him a second chance. If Mihawk wanted to, if that was his intent, he could have easily cut Zoro in half. That just demonstrated the skill level of Mihawk in order to cut him, but leave him alive. So many people, it's just, they got tinted glasses on when it comes to One Piece. And then they'll make it seem like Kenshin's not durable when he fought 3 top tier characters back to back in the Kyoto arc. Aoshi, Sojiro, and then finally Shishio. And he came out the victor. So no, Zoro does not have a durability feat that trumps Kenshin's. When Kuma gave him Luffy's damage that he took at Thriller Bark, Zoro barely took that. He took it, but barely. Just a quick little insert. People have stated that Zoro could beat Seijiro Hiko. Man, but once I saw that, I knew I had seen it all. Seijiro Hiko is the equivalent of a Mihawk or Shanks within the world of One Piece. And Zoro, time skip Zoro, is nowhere near beating Mihawk, nor in my personal opinion will he ever actually beat Mihawk. So if he can't beat Mihawk, what makes you think he can beat Seijiro Hiko? You delusional, man. That's all I can say for it. You delusional. So moving on. The next thing to note about this 1 minute melee is the actual characteristics of both characters. Kenshin the Wanderer is passive. Zoro is aggressive. And some people did state that Zoro would not just automatically start a fight. It still doesn't change the fact that he is naturally aggressive. When he tried to take on Mihawk, he was aggressive, very aggressive, and Kenshin is not that. And then couple that with the fact that Zoro is using bladed weapons, cutting into the flesh of Kenshin. And for this, I'll use a mock battle in which I use a mock Kenshin from the game Way of the Samurai 4. And this female knight will be the equivalent of Zoro. So you have to think about this. She is cutting into the flesh of this mock Kenshin, where I'm using a reverse blade, and it's the equivalent, it's basically a blunt object. You might as well say that Kenshin was hitting Zoro with the equivalent of a steel bat. Sure, it would bruise Zoro in some capacity, but he's still fighting at his full capacity. Whereas Kenshin is losing blood, there's no way he's going to be able to keep up. There's no way he's going to be able to keep up with Zoro fighting at full capacity when he's losing blood. It's common sense. So, of course Kenshin would lose that. But, like I say, if you have an aggressor versus an aggressor, the Batosai versus any form of Zoro, then you get an actual 1 minute melee. You know, an actual battle. You're not getting a battle between Kenshin, the Wanderer, and Zoro. It's one-sided already. It's well known that Kenshin, the Wanderer, is more for protecting people versus killing somebody. That's the Batosai. You know, that's what the Batosai does. So there's no question that the Batosai would slaughter East Blue Zoro and Time Skip Zoro. I don't care what you say. The facts are there. And if you want to get more technical, still on the surface, the similarities between Kenshin and Zoro are very distinctive. Oda once again tapped into Roronoa Kenshin and applied some elements of Kenshin's story to Zoro. You think not? Like I said, man, this is just one of many elements I could point out. But if you take a look at Zoro's past, Zoro was studying a set sword discipline under a master who he then left and set out on his own to develop his quote own style with 3 swords. Kenshin was studying a set sword discipline under Seijiro Hiko, and then he set out on his own. The difference between the two is Kenshin completed, or at least mastered, a great percentage of the Hitsen Mitsurugi style, where Zoro did not master anything of a one-sworded style. So if you're comparing sword disciplines or sword abilities, Kenshin supersedes Zoro in every way. Couple this with the fact that Kenshin at a young age was assassinating adults compared to any feat that Zoro did as a kid. Come on. Here again, the Batosa outclasses Zoro, or Kenshin outclasses Zoro. Still surface though. It's all still surface. So what it comes down to is the sword disciplines. Is Zoro more skilled with swords than Kenshin? The answer is no. And just to get slightly more technical, the majority of Zoro's sword attacks are thrusting attacks. If you take a look at Kenshin, when he fought Saito and Saito basically brought the Batosai back, you will know that the Batosai made Saito's thrusting attack null and void. So again, the Batosai has every advantage over Zoro. We're talking about 2 swordsmen here. No devil fruits involved. That's what a lot of One Piece fans would say after I put this battle in perspective. Like, well, can the Batosai beat a devil fruit user? And obviously the answer is no. It's common sense. There's no way that, for example, if the Batosai were to fight Law, obviously Law would win, because Law relies solely on his devil fruit. He has no sword discipline. He uses his sword in conjunction with his devil fruit, the same way that Fujitora does. Now, I was maybe for Fujitora it might be slightly different. Fujitora may just actually fight a normal sword discipline user with his sword style, which Fujitora is basically the equivalent of Zatoichi. I mean, come on, man. That's evident. So I don't know. Maybe if he uses devil fruit, it's over too. So no, there's no way that any character from Roronoa Kenshin, including the strongest man in that anime himself, would lose to a devil fruit user, and that is Seijiro Hiko. But guaranteed he could walk into the world of One Piece and take on any normal sword user, Mihawk, Shanks, Shiryu, or the Rain, without any problem. Because he, unlike Kenshin, can use the Hitsen Mitsurugi style at its maximum capacity. And like I said before, it is a style made to end the battle as quick as possible. So with that being said, man, there's nothing else for me to say. Either you understand and comprehend what I just stated, or you don't. It doesn't matter to me. I just wanted to put this out there that the battle is undeniably flawed. I see why they stopped doing 1 minute melee. They researched that. The characters should have been the Batosai and East Blue Zoro. So with that being said, as always, thanks for listening. Peace.